In this video, I will teach you a technique that you can apply to the chords and the scales that you already know. This technique will make the notes on the fretboard come alive. You can apply this technique to any chord or scale, but today we're going to look at the E chord in the open position and the E minor pentatonic open position. I will break down this lesson in 3 different levels. So level 1 is a beginner intermediate level. We want to start with lightly laying our fingers over all of the strings, really focusing on the bottom 2 strings here. And the metronome is set at 84 beats per minute, and then hit on the downbeat. Then as you feel it, do the up and down motion. Now really focusing on these bottom 2 strings, because if you're just learning this, it's very hard to mute them all at once. That's the goal in the upcoming levels here. You need to be able to mute all those strings. But for now, just focus on these low strings. So now that you have that pulse, let's add the E chord to it. So once you start feeling that pulse, that groove, start adding elements of the E minor pentatonic scale. As you see, just a simple chord and a few notes really come alive with this technique. Coming up in level 3, I will show you how this works over the chord changes also. For level 2, this is an intermediate level. We should be able to create this groove without the metronome. We should be better at muting these strings, every one of them. We should be able to play that E chord in a few places on the fretboard and then play elements of the E minor pentatonic around that with that pulse. Let me break down some of those lick ideas before we move on to level 3. But if this lesson is helpful, hit that like button. I really do appreciate all your support. So if we're using the E chord here, I know a lot of you finger it this way. It really doesn't matter. I usually finger it this way because I like to be able to slide up to some different things, but either way is fine. Really just bending that 3rd fret of the E string to the E note here in the 2nd fret of the D string. Slight bend. So in this lick, you want to slide up to 4 from 2, hit 3, 4 to 2, pull off to open, hit the E note on 2. And really looking at the E chord here with the root note in the 7th fret of the A string, Just using a piece of the E minor pentatonic scale here. 5, slight bend, 7, 5, 7. It's always a bluesy thing to do to have that slight bend in there. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. And then moving up here, just a little piece of the E chord here. 14, 13, 12. And then you can go back down to the piece of the D chord and slide up. The same position though, same shape. And you have the E minor pentatonic scale right here. Really just walking right down the scale. Double stop in the 12th fret of the G and B strings, then back to 14 on D. So level 3 is more advanced. We should have a lot more control over our muting and do this with chord changes. Let me demonstrate this and I'll break down the licks. My right hand, if you're an advanced player, you have to be able to have that groove the whole time. No matter if you're playing lead or rhythm or both, that right hand is moving. It's keeping a pulse. It's keeping everything locked in tight. It's really worth it taking the time to learn that technique. All right, so really just using the E chord, A chord, and a B7 chord. So we're keeping the pulse, we're playing the chords, and then we're playing elements of the E minor pentatonic over the changes. So this is a lick we kind of already went over. Sliding up to 4, 3, 4 to 2, pull off, back to 2 on the E chord. Then as we go to the A chord, then it goes back to E. Sliding up here from 3 to 5 on the B string with the E string ringing, the open E string. 4 to 2, pull off, E, just like the other lick. You have so many options when you can play that pull off. If you really want to get jiggy, you just bend up in the 2nd fret, slide up and back down, and then pull off and hit the E. So then we're back to E. B7, just walk up to the B7, the B note. Open A, 1, 2, B note. And then it goes back to A, so you hit this little 7 here, the G note. So 3, 2, just a little piece of the A7 chord, but you're bending a little quarter bend there. Open E and B string. And that little drone thing, again, the same lick as before. So really quick recap, getting that pulse, playing the chords with that, then adding elements of the E minor pentatonic scale to that. You can do this at any key or any scale, but we're just using E for these examples today. I had a blast making this lesson today. I hope you had fun, and I hope the lesson was useful, and I hope I see you on the next one.